I will call to order the September 26, 2023 meeting of the Albany School Board. Present myself, Tim Sorgi, Chair.
Dan Bianchino, Vice Chair.
Hi, Kevin Richards, Superintendent.
And Ann Merrill.
Public.
Public. Second order of business is approval of minutes of June 13th, 23. Do I have a motion to...
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, I will second that. Any discussion, changes? Hearing none. Vote to approve the minutes of 6/13/23.
Yes.
Item 3, comments. Any public comment? No public comment. Board member comment. We signed the checks and the manifest. Business affairs, summary of expenses and receipts.
Yeah, I can walk through this real quickly.
Sure.
If you'd like. So in the packet, you did get a copy of, just for everybody, our fiscal year runs from July 1st to June 30th every year. And we close the books, obviously we've paid the bills, and this is a time of year where everything has been ready to submit to the state. So you did have a fund balance. Obviously you adopt the budget and it gets approved in March. And then we take a look at what was expended. Your tuition costs are fixed costs, so that's a net zero sum. Special education, you did have a unspent fund balance of $101,000 there. And that was because you had a couple of students move out of the district. So that's a good news, I guess, for the town of Albany. There are some other miscellaneous pieces, some transportation reductions, again, related to some of those services. So from what you budgeted, that $1.7 million, you expended about $1.6 million. So as far as your operating budget and all of those costs, there is an unspent fund balance of $118,910. Okay? And then you go through the revenue portion, and your revenue comes in a number of different ways. Obviously, your appropriation through taxes. You also receive interest. You have to give hats off to Bridget. Last year, you got a couple $100, and she did worked with the banks. This year, you accrued $6,600 worth of interest, which is a nice piece. So that was an increase to the revenue there. Then you go through the adequacy piece, both the grant and the state. Those are pretty much a wash of what we expected. And then you did receive about $6,000 for the state for some Albany students who went to the charter schools and had some services there. So that was another unanticipated piece. And then we budgeted $1,000 for Medicaid reimbursement, and you get $2,600. So again, revenue is projected,
Right.
and then at the end of the year, so you get about $14,000 of unanticipated revenue beyond what we projected. So the bottom line is your ending fund balance as of June 30th, 2023 was $133,179. Okay, and that will go to offset your December tax bills. That's
So question on the 6,600 interest.
Yep.
Is that the stuff that we had talked about before with Chuck? That was the money that we send to the district that she puts, it's almost like escrow.
Yeah.
So we are realizing interest on that
Yeah,
money?
typically you would see next to nothing if it was all lumped together.
Right.
You're getting no interest whatsoever. So Bridget did work with the banks, and all the towns are seeing significant increase to those interest rates.
Excellent.
Good.
Sounds good. You have any questions about?
No, I looked at them and everything looks good.
Excellent.
So with that being said, you don't retain a fund balance, you never have, and you don't have a warrant article, so that, it was on the agenda, but that was a mistake by my new administrative assistant. So you do have the forms, so that was kind of the quick and dirty piece, and then what you have is what's called the 22 and the DOE 25. So that essentially is taking your entire budget and breaking it down by line all the way through. This then gets signed by you folks. We send it to the Department of Revenue Administration, and that way they can use it to set your tax rates and all of those pieces. So
Okay.
if you would, school board chair signs up top, and then sign up top on this one as well, please. And then Dan, if you could sign down below.
Oops, sorry. This just fell off.
That's okay. That's just to make sure we don't.
Okay, what do we have on business stuff, Kev?
That's it for business affairs.
Okay, you want to just jump into the superintendent search and
Sure.
assistant superintendent?
Yeah, a couple things, just one off agenda item. This weekend was jam-packed in the town of Conway for the 100th celebration. It was just an outstanding weekend. They had the parade on Friday night. One of the it's a little slice of Americana, you know. It's lined all the way up Route 16, both sides. Thousands of people were there, truly.
That's awesome.
And a lot of alumni. They opened up the school, had a lot of great displays, and then finished off with food trucks and again fireworks were the big piece so a real positive community event. I'd like to thank, I was hoping Curtis would be here, but Coleman Corp donated tremendous resources and financial to make it all happen, including lights out there, but they had music, and it was just a really, really nice night. On Saturday, all the homecoming games were back as well. Recognition of a lot of the alumni who returned. The fields were packed, and just an overall really, really nice community event that took place. So.
That's awesome.
Couple other agenda items. The executive board is meeting Thursday night at 6, and then the SAU 9 meeting is October 12th. You'll get notification of those. Those are a couple important meetings related to the superintendent search and assistant superintendent search. So the assistant superintendent search will close on October 1st. There's nobody from the Albany board on that one. But the committee will start to meet October 4th, October 11th with interviews on the 18th. And we'll begin that process. As far as the superintendent search, the big thing is there are, I think, about 5 or 6 community members who have expressed interest. So at that meeting on the 12th, they'll come to the meeting and the SU 9 board will select 2 of those members to sit on the committee. And I'll clarify a little bit more and give you guys some information regarding that. The other piece is some drafts of the advertisement will go out, and then we'll begin that process not too long after. So that committee is pretty much filled out. Curtis is going to sit on that superintendent search. Just place the 2 community members on there, and then we'll be off and moving forward. Other than that, we're working on, hard to believe, budget development will start in the next month or so, and just keep plugging away. So if you guys have any questions about what's going on with the schools.
Really, I'm glad that there's community interest in being on the search committee. That's a good thing.
I'm hoping you can make that SAU 9 meeting as well, because you know more of the people here probably than I do, obviously.
The SA, yeah, I mean, I plan on going on that.
Okay,
one.
good.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, it's the SAU 9 board that will vote on the superintendent, but it's nice to have input from the committee to narrow it down.
Well, yeah, I mean, the committee's gonna make
Sure.
recommendations.
They'll basically do a lot of the vetting of the process, right? They'll be spending time reviewing applicants, interviewing, doing reference check, background. Hopefully they can get somebody who they feel consensus recommendation to the full board. If not, they may say we have 2 qualified candidates and then go to the full SAU 9 board for further interviews but ultimately it's your choice as to who you select.
So one of the desires that I picked up at the last couple meetings we had was to kind of accelerate the process, right? They looked at the timeline and said, well, I think we should move this up a little bit to give ourselves a little bit more room to do, the necessary work. Nancy did a good job. She had reached out to a couple of companies that specialize in this, and ultimately the decision was made that the SAU 9 wanted to do it itself. For what the companies were offering versus what it would cost us, we felt it was
At least for the first round.
For the first round, I mean, if
Exactly.
it really would, I think it'll probably depend on the interest and, what we get
Right.
for as far as interest in applicants.
Right.
If we don't get any, then we'll have to go to plan B. So,
right.
or don't get any good qualified applicants that, we wanna go pursue.
Okay, on to any other business. The date for our next meeting will be November 14th, 5:30. You good with that?
Yeah,
Right now?
yeah, I think
Okay.
5:30 works for me.
Okay, moving on to public comment. No public comment, non-public session. So I would like to make a motion to go into non-public, just so I can bring you up to speed as to what's going on with the negotiations with
Okay.
Conway.